All right, Shalom. All right, first and foremost, I'd like to get all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikakwadash. Double honors to my apostles and bishops with great millstone. And peace, salutation to the whole elect that's pushing the word and truth and sincerity, all right? And this is great millstone, 100% true exhortation scriptures of the day. So basically part of being in this truth is suffering, all right? No easy route, okay? You got to know what you evolved in, so part of being in this truth is basically suffering. No easy route because majority of guys can't handle the tribulations and the troubles and the burdens and stuff like that. I ain't trying to point the fingers, but you gotta know what you evolved in, man. And plus, Yahweh Shai, he suffered for us, so we gotta suffer too if you want to follow his footsteps. Okay. So this gonna be a short exhortation scriptures of the day, man. It's short. It ain't gonna be long. But I'm gonna go to 1 Peter 4:1. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it in the NLT real quick. Alright, this is 1 Peter 4:1 in NLT. It says, so then since Yahweh Shai Hamashiach suffered physical pain, he was he was put on the cross. All right. He's persecuted. It says you must arm yourselves with the same attitude he had. Okay, you got to be prepared, man. You have to be prepared mentally. You know what I'm saying? That Yahweh Shai went through. Okay. It says you must arm yourself with the same attitude he had and be ready to suffer too. All right. It says, for if you have suffered physically for Yahweh Shai Mashiach, you have finished with sin. Okay. It says you won't spend the rest of your lives chasing your own desires, but you will be anxious to do the will of the Most High. All right. So you won't be, you won't be chasing the desires of this world. You won't be, be able to be a part of this, this wicked society, man. You just gonna focus on doing the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay. It says you have had enough in the past of the evil things that godless people enjoy. All right. So those days, your former lives, your former wicked lives that you did in your past life in the world, you didn't shave the old man off. You know what I'm saying? You didn't change your whole life, your spirit. All right. You got into the, ministry, and, took that nigga mentality out of you, man. Okay. It says you won't spend the rest of your life chasing your own desires, but you will be anxious to do the will of the Most High. It said you have had enough in the past of the evil things that godless people enjoy. Their immortality and lust, their feasting and drunkenness and wild parties. All right. And their terrible worship of idols. All these wicked things, all these different, type of, wicked events that you once enjoyed when you was in the world. Now, since you in the truth, you know what I'm saying, you gotta suffer with it. Because now you part of something that's truthful. Okay? You part of something that's real, man. All right? You gotta suffer as Yahweh Shai suffer now. Because once you was in this world, you didn't really suffer like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you was dealing with the world, because people doing, having like good stuff in the world. But when you come in this truth, man, you got to get prepared for the temptations. Because majority of guys fell out because they couldn't handle the temptations. They couldn't handle the suffering. So they went back into the world. You know what I'm saying? So, verse 4, it says, of course, your former friends are surprised when you no longer plunge into the flood of wild and destructive things they do. So they slander you. So basically, they like, yeah, man, I see you standing on the corner, them long garments on, whatever that is, a dress, you know what I'm saying, yelling on the corner, you know what I'm saying, what y'all be doing, man? Man, you didn't change, man. You tripping. You bugging the hell out, man. They gonna think, because, we'll laugh and stop. You know, we're a spectacle. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they don't know that we doing this for Yahweh Shema Shai, and plus we suffering like Yahweh Shai suffered. Okay? Basically, you know, Yahweh Shai suffered, you know, therefore we must suffer. Okay? So being in this truth means preparing. All right? Preparing you, all right? No, you're for your afflictions. Okay, what catching hell and resisting the flesh. That's when the temptations come, when you come in this truth. All right. It says, of course, your former friends are surprised when you no longer plunge into the flood of a wild and destructive things they do. So they slander you. So used to smoke weed back in the day. All right. Used to drink a lot, party. You know what I'm saying? You know, fuck different chicks. You know what I'm saying? Doing all kind of wild, wicked shit. Since you got into this truth and you repented, you know, the Lord cleansed you with the word. You know what I'm saying? Through his prophets on down, man. From the, you know, from the apostles on down. You've been cleansed with the word. Since you've been cleansed with the word, now you got to go through temptations and suffering. All right? Then that's when the test come. That's when catching hell come. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, yeah, man. Part of being in this truth is suffering. So, when you come in this truth, ain't gonna be no easy route. Because understand that the Lord can't put things on you that you can't handle. All right. Certain brothers go through harder sufferings than others. Brothers go through light suffering. Some brothers go through hard sufferings. Depends. You know what I'm saying? Depends how the Lord is dealing with you. All right. All right. I'm gonna go to real quick. Yeah, the NOT, you know, speaks volume, man. This 2 Timothy 2:1, it says, "Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai." And that's important, man. We got to be strong in the grace, strong in the faith. You know, being in this truth, being in this ministry. You know, I myself need to be strong, you know, because, you know, certain flaws I'm going through right now. And other brothers going through flaws as well. So it says, therefore, thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses. The same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. It says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. To say, no man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life. Okay, so, you know, when you come to this truth, man, certain shit you need to just, you know, shave off. Certain things you did in the world, you know, you got to really pray to Yahweh Shema Shai to shave that off you. And then you got to meet them halfway too, you know what I'm saying? So you got to have that faith and that courage to, you know, leave certain shit alone, certain things you did in the world alone, man. It says, all the things that thou heard. No, Salaki, verse 4, it says, no man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. Okay. The Lord chose us to be a soldier. The Lord said, you ain't chosen me, but I have chosen you. Okay. So basically, this is a military calling. All right. And basically, soldiers don't live easy lives, man. Okay. And also, you must endure hardness. You know, spiritual battles, demons, temptations, you know, tribulations. When you come in this truth, man. So that's knowing what you being a part of when you come in this ministry, man. Okay, this ain't no easy route. This ain't no easy route, man. So, but in the kingdom of heaven, we ain't got to go through all that suffering and, you know, enduring hardness. But, you know, the Lord said, endure to the end. The same shall be saved. All right. So that's the main goal, to endure to the end. All right. And you got to pray to Yahweh Shema Shai also for him to keep that spirit on you to endure. Okay. You got to, because all hell finna break loose. You know what I'm saying? You got the MOTB. You know what I'm saying? You got martial law. You know what I'm saying? You got, you know, You got all these higher prophecies that's going to come to pass. The major prophecies, the MOTB, it's the RFID chip. All right, the Lord, the Lord put the spirit on Esau, to make it. He's going to make it mandatory. All right, so it's gonna get wild out here, man. So basically, you gotta continue to fight. We gotta continue to fight and endure. All right. It said, "No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life." The affairs of this life, this world, man, this worldly lust. You know what I'm saying? These worldly lustful accolades, man. That you see every day. On internet, you see it like in plain view. All this lustful flesh shit going on, and you get tangled in it because we got flesh. We are the we are the flesh. We got the fleshly desires, but we gotta really fight that temptations and afflictions and catching hell. That's part of being in this truth, man. Because it's gonna come a time that the Lord gonna beam up his elect, to get changed. Once you get changed to immortal bodies, incorruptible bodies, man, then we be good, Lord willing. Okay. Let me go to Matthew. It's one of our favorite scriptures, man. Matthew 7:13. It says, "Enter ye in a straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life." Okay. It says, "And few there that be that find it." All right. Who's that few, man? The elect. All right. And that straight gate, man, straight means position of difficulties. And the majority, people, go the easy route. That's why that's broad. All right. Broad is the way. And then the ones go to worldly living. Okay. Comfort, worldly living, like Christianity, Christians, they live a wide worldly life too. They couldn't handle the suffering and the temptations and all that stuff, because understand this, man, they of the world. They praising Jesus Christ and all that shit. So the majority go the easy route, which is, broad is the way, leadeth unto destruction. So basically, the elect, must walk a tight, a difficult path. All right. Because they come with burdens and discipline. It makes you hard. Okay. "Enter ye in the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction." That worldly mindset. All right. Because this is not an easy route, man. It said many there be which go in thereat, because straight is the gate, narrow is the way to the kingdom. It says that many there be which go in thereat, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life. All right, the kingdom of heaven, and few there be that find it. Okay. So yeah, in order for us to, continue to endure, in this truth, in this ministry, we got to be part of being in this truth. Suffering. This ain't no easy cakewalk. Because when a brother come into camp or stand on the other side of the line, and he, it looks mighty to him, because brother's standing boldly, and prophesying. But when you get on the other side of the line, this is what you got to deal with. We always warn, younger brothers, the new fruit You know what I'm saying? To know what you involved in, know what you're gonna go through when you come on the other side of the line. Okay, that's when the straight gate come. That's when the affliction come. That's when the catching hell come, and that's when resisting the flesh come. You know, so yeah. And then when you was in the world, you gotta you gotta continue to meditate and share that shit off you, man. Because when you was in the world, you can't do the worldly shit that you once did. And then you got friends that you was running the world with. You know what I'm saying? When they found out when they ride past you in the car, when they ride past you and they see you standing out with the brothers, you know what I'm saying, with garments on and stuff like that, which they call it dresses and shit, which is a garment. You know, they gon' they gonna be like, man, I seen you on the corner, man, standing with them dudes, man, with Bibles in y'all hand, man. What's up with that? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you in that coat, huh? You gonna get all that shit. We got all that. When we first got in, man, we've been we've been ridiculed, talked about, made fun of, all that shit when we came to the truth. Because we look back on it, it's funny now because look at the motherfuckers that's not, look at the motherfuckers that made fun of us. Look where they at now. But us, men of the Lord, prophets, man, we got to keep on striving and keep moving forward, man. All right. So, yeah, this ain't no easy route, man. I'm going to go to Sirach. Sirach, just the last scripture I'm going to close out. This Sirach, 2, I'm going to start at 1. All right, this is Sirach 2:1, which is Ecclesiasticus, Apocrypha, right? It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, which, your mind goes back to the Hebrew word lab, okay? Which is your mind, all right? Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away. Cleave. You got to stick to the Lord. You got to stick to the truth, stick to the ministry. You know what I'm saying? And stick to what the Lord gave you, man, until we get the fuck up out of here. It said, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Okay? So you gotta constantly, fight and cleave unto him. Keep doing the work. How you cleave unto the Lord? Keep doing the work. Keep going the highways and byways. All right. And fight, man. You know what I'm saying? And continue to endure. All right. So basically, when entering into this truth, it really means being tempted. If you really want to be technical, and be hardened. All right. So Yahweh Shema Shai basically purifies his chosen. You know what I'm saying, with affliction. If when you come in this ministry, when you get on the other side of the line, what may have you, that's when the test comes. So yeah, man. And this scripture right here, 1 Corinthians 13:13, it says, and now abide of faith. See, that's when your faith come in. That's the spirit, because this app I have, you got scriptures pop up on top right here too. So it said trust. See, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not to thy own understanding. See, that's a couple precepts that popped up. You gotta trust in the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? Once you come in this faith and this truth, man, and continue and you start fighting, man, you gotta trust in the Lord, because like I said before, man, the Lord's not going to put anything on you that you can't handle. So you got to trust in him. You know what I'm saying? When you get into some stuff, man, you know, you got to praise your how about Shema Shai, lighten the burden as well. He'll lighten the burden for you. So all you got to do is trust him and have faith that he will do it. You know, you're going through financial problems, you're going through you know, car trouble, you know what I'm saying? You're going through shipwrecks and stuff like that. You're going through it with your woman, you know what I'm saying? You're going through it with your kids, you know, you're going through it within yourself, because, you know, you got these evil, you know, demons, you know, plaguing your mind, and, you know, this saying all kind of crazy shit. Then you having like different thoughts, you know, crazy thought about another brother. That's a fight, man. That's a fight. You know what I'm saying? That's part of being in this truth, man. That's part of suffering. Okay? That's when the test come, man. All right? You know, so when you get on the other side, man, prepare for that temptation to come, man. You know, so us being in this truth for quite a while now, you know, we know when, you know, we know the test, you know what I'm saying? Then rebukes and stuff come, you know, and then you got to examine yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to examine yourself. And you got to be circumspect, you know, and I'm just, you know, paraphrasing. You know, you got to be circumspect, you got to examine yourself. You got to watch out for certain things, you know, you got to, you know, you got to be happy, you got to have conduct. You know, you got to, you know, got to practice on your conduct. That's the main thing. That's the main important in this truth, you know. You know, everything's come with it. You know, got a lot to learn. A lot to learn. We still got a lot to learn in this truth, man. We ain't, you know, oh, we got it now, I'm good. No, man, we still got to go through the fight. Still got to go through the fight, man. We got to still continue to fight and endure. All right. So with that, man, I hope y'all was you know, edified, man. This is Great Mr. 100% Truth Exhortation Scriptures of the day, man. You know, part of being the truth is suffering. No easy route. So next time, shalom.